Today I'm going to talk to you about the man who is the biggest influence on my life, my father, Chandrakant Kerkar. My father passed away 14 years ago, but I must confess that there is not a single day when I have not remembered him. My father almost spent his life just for me. From the age of 6 to 16, we went for a walk every day for 2 hours. We walked on the seaside, we walked on the riverside, we walked on the hills, and we walked in the fields. And these walks was actually my real education. He told me so many things. He was a very well-educated man. He had his master's in literature, and he was also an artist. And he would talk to me about authors, he would talk to me about big dreams. And what is most interesting is, he gave me many things which he did not have. He was rather poor. School teachers were paid very badly that time. But my father sort of was timid, but he made me bold. He made me courageous. My father was usually a very depressed man, but he sort of made me somebody full of happiness and joy. My father did not have big ambitions. Perhaps I was only ambition he had, but I became sort of rather ambitious. I started dreaming big. We were in small schools in villages, and he was all the time trying to change his job and come near cities, near Panjim. And so every time he went for an interview in any school, he would take me along. So I was just 7, 8 years old, 9 years old. And I would sit outside the room where he was being interviewed, and he found some sort of a strength because I was there sitting outside. I was in Marathi medium schools until the 8th standard, and only 9th and 10th I was in English medium school. My father wrote a book just to teach me English. It was called Subodh Kerkar. So I learned English under him. And when I changed the medium of instruction, it made absolutely no difference. Actually, I stood 7th in the Goa board, in spite of changing mediums. We would go for walks on the beach. When I was a little boy, I would sit on his shoulders, and he would carry me into the water, into the waves. And when big waves came, I sort of screamed with laughter and joy. I would hold his finger and stand in the wet sand, and the receding waves would take the sand away under my feet. There was a very nice ticklish feeling. So that ticklish feeling is imprinted on the soles of my feet. I will never forget that, because that's also the memory of holding the little finger of my father. We would watch the waves would come, break, the surf would run onto the sand, go back, the next wave would come. Most waves wet the same sand which was wet before. And my father would tell me, "Son, look, most waves wet the sand which is already wet. But then a big wave comes, rushes ahead, and wets new sand." He said it is very important to wet new sand in your life. In any creative endeavor, you have to wet new sand. I do not know whether I have wet new sand in my artistic journey, but I am still trying, and my father must be watching.